Hello, welcome to Local Edition. I'm Leslie Leyton. There have been a lot of changes along the Huntington Beach coastline. If you haven't been there for a while or along the past 3 years, you might not even recognize the place. What's different about it? Well, Huntington Beach City Councilman Mike Posey is here to tell us about some of the changes that you can expect if you visit. Welcome.
Thank you, Leslie, for having me. Yes, indeed, the coastline has changed dramatically. The Pacific City is finally open. It's fully occupied. Something like 13, 14 restaurants in there. I think maybe it's 16 now. 190,000 square feet of retail, attracted about 1.4 million visitors last year. Right next door is the Posey Hotel. That just opened up. So we're really excited about what's happening. The Hilton has also added their second tower, so that's under construction. They'll be open in the springtime. They're already booking conventions and summer rates, summer rooms.
It is surprising, if you haven't been there for a while, how different it is. I think we remember it as the sleepy little surf town with the Golden Bear maybe and Jack's Surf Shop and, you know, a lot of casual, low-key surfers walking around. But it is a world-class destination attracting millions of people every year. Describe what the hotel experience is like there for people visiting.
Well, the hotel experience is, it really is world-class. I mean, they have on-site spas, on-site restaurants, concierge service, and they're really right across the street from the beach. From the Hyatt, you can take a pedestrian bridge from the hotel right to the beach. Beach rentals, surfboards, whatever you need to do to really experience Southern California.
Location, of course, always key. In Huntington Beach, you really have a great strategic position for tourists visiting from throughout Orange County or the rest of the world. You're right between Los Angeles and San Diego. If you're traveling from far, you can see a lot of Southern California, just making your home base there.
Yeah, it's very close to John Wayne Airport, 15 minutes. It's very close to Disneyland, maybe 30 minutes or so to Disneyland. And there's really plenty to do just in Huntington Beach.
Along with the physical changes with the big fancy hotels and all of the entertainment that's available, you've also made a lot of new kinds of experiences available to a wider audience. Tell us about what you're doing.
We have, and Huntington Beach is certainly known as Surf City worldwide. Our culture is surfing. We have the U.S. Open. We had the big board world record surfing, or surfboard. And we're also diversifying the types of events to attract a broader, more global audience. And in 2016, we inaugurated the Breitling Air Show. We had the first annual air show. We're set to do it for 3 years in a row. 2017 is going to be bigger and better. We had over the 3 days, we had the practice day Friday, Saturday and Sunday, we had upwards of 500,000 people watching the air show over those 3 days, which translated into more hotel rooms, more restaurant patronage, downtown patronage, and it was a big, big plus. It was a family event, so we had mostly families there. It was a very exciting event.
It is a great expense to a city as well to put on an event like this. How does this compare to the surfing championships, and what does it bring to the city for Huntington Beach?
Well, it brings people, and people generally come and spend money. Both the U.S. Open and Breitling Air Show needs sponsorship. So Breitling was the title sponsor for the Breitling Air Show. There are a lot of other sponsors, fundraising, that goes on to put it on. So it is expensive. The city makes an investment too with public safety, and then parking, of course, helps subsidize that too. So.
An air show, it seems kind of counterintuitive because it happens in the air. It's free. Anyone can see it. So how does it bring the attention to the city?
The air show brings the attention to the city because it's really something different. In air shows, typically, if you want to go to an air show, you had to go to an airport, or you had to go to Oshkosh, Wisconsin, which is where the granddaddy of all air shows are. And to be able to see it from just about anywhere in the city was a big plus. We had the beach was crowded, the parking was crowded, not overly crowded, and then a lot of the sponsors had hospitality tents. And the Breitling Air Show also had tents for hospitality for those that wanted to watch the air show and have food and drink and shelter, shade.
So Huntington Beach really becoming a place to go with the family, take a date, to have a second look at the city. And all this renewed attention is a benefit to the city in terms of revenue. How has that changed over the past few years for the city of Huntington Beach?
Dramatically. As most people know, a big source of revenue for municipalities is TOT, which is an acronym for the Transit Occupancy Tax, or more commonly known as the bed tax. And our bed tax, we had a huge increase, 40-something% increase, which goes into reinvesting with Visit Huntington Beach, bring more tourism here. And we're expecting an even greater increase once the second Hilton Tower is open and the Spring Hill Suites is open. But all the hotels are enjoying more or less full occupancy, especially in the summer.
But to have transit occupancy taxes increase 50% over 10 years, that is a lot of extra breathing room for a city to put into its general fund to operate for the locals as well.
It is. It helps offset a lot of the expenses to put some of these events on. And it does fund Visit HB, which is the mechanism that drives the tourism. So they're part and parcel working with city staff and bringing these events, coordinating these city events.
We all know Huntington Beach has Surf City. It's been, it got that name without even a big advertising agency behind it because it was just a real natural. But now there's an effort to rebrand some of the areas, for instance, the Strand and 5th Street. What's going on there, and what is different there compared to the hotel area?
Not a whole lot. In fact, the Strand is actually getting a facelift. There's a new owner of the Strand that's a private development. It's getting actually a new paint job. It's going from red brick to some colors of white and blue pastels, give it a little bit of a facelift, and help to attract some of the downtown Main Street visitors to the Strand. The Zimzala restaurant is being remodeled. The Shorebreak Hotel rooms are being remodeled. And we're looking at some new restaurants and some new retail that's coming. So,
what is new on the horizon? There's so much went into creating this fabulous destination with all the resort areas, but I know you always have more on the plan and a lot of discussion about the future development of the city.
Future development, I think we're looking at maybe a little bit of if we go up north, up to the other side of town, Bellaterra Mall has some ambitious plans. There's a little bit of fine tuning of that. The hotel across the street that's going to be opening up in the summer, the Spring Hill Suites by Marriott, which will bring business travelers here. We're also looking at some residential development. So we've got big plans. Huntington Beach has got a very ambitious plan to rebrand, just like you said. So more than just Surf City.
If you were going to tell someone who has never visited Huntington Beach or hadn't been there for a really long time, what would you tell them to do? What kind of itinerary would you give them so that they could get the full flavor of everything Huntington Beach has to offer?
Well, I'd certainly tell them to start off downtown, Main Street. Main Street is home to 40-something restaurants and bars and tourist attractions. The Surfing Museum is at 411 Olive Street. The world record-setting Guinness World Records surfboard is on the wall that they can see. There's plenty of exhibits inside the museum to see. And then, of course, Pacific City for shopping, dining, stay at any of the hotels, Paseo, Hyatt, Hilton, the Shorebreak, they're all right downtown, and coordinate their visit around one of our events. Whether it's the air show or the US Open, or we have an annual marathon with 20,000 runners. The 4th of July parade, we can't forget about the 4th of July parade. In fact, I live on Main Street, so I have all my friends and relatives come and visit us during the 4th of July. So the parade goes right down PCH, comes up Main Street, 2.5 hours long. I know that's once a year, but that's another big event. And we're looking at diversifying events.
And the ocean's always right there waiting to greet you. Mike
right.
Posey, thank you so much for visiting today.
Thank you, Leslie.
Glad you could be here. We're glad you could join us as well.
Thanks.
I'm Leslie Leyton.
Thanks.